With just 44 days to presidential elections, there has been quite a number of developments that have created concerns around the safety and conduct of the election. From attacks on offices of the Independent National Electoral Commission around the country to the office of the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, under legal threats. Similarly, there are pending cases in court, a total of 719 outcome of controversial party primary cases over candidates for governorship, senatorial, House of Representatives and State House of Assembly yet to be determined finally by the court. The question is, will Nigerians know these candidates before voting on election day as preparation for the election continues by all stakeholders involved? What are the areas of focus and concerns that should be focused on? And what should be the implementation strategies by key actors for a successful 2023 election? Joining us on the show this morning to discuss these issues around INEC and the elections is Mike Igini, former Akwa Ibom Resident Electoral Commissioner for INEC. Welcome to the morning show.
Good morning, Esther, for having me.
Great to have you.
All right, thank you so much and good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, and Happy New Year to you, because I think this is the first time I'm speaking this year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
May it be a bright year for all of us. What is going on? We have some pending cases. The Akwa Ibom issue is still there. We had the Senator Elisha Abozon just yesterday coming through. When are we going to know? INEC has come out to say that no final list has been published yet. When are we going to know what is happening in the final list?
Rufai, thank you very much. We have just 44 days to a major election that will define the path that Nigeria will go as from next month. We must recognize that the conduct of election, how it is conducted, the outcome of that election has huge implication for investment within the economy, within Nigeria economy, and those who want to come to Nigeria to invest. So it is important that the kind of information that we are sending out there should be the one that will have confidence in our environment. It's against that background that quite a number of issues you've raised indeed of interest, and we need to also deal with them, particularly a number of them that are overblown, or some that are complete misinformation being put up by politicians who obviously are scared of what is ahead of them, who are using extra-constitutional and non-legitimized actors to try to create a situation that all of us must overcome. Now, with respect to that of pending cases, Rufai, it's most unfortunate that whereas there have been so much reform on the part of the Commission, most with respect to the statutory framework governing political party primaries, with respect to issue about internal party democracy, we are not where we should be. That is why today, regrettably, we had over 719 cases, as you've mentioned, in court. Regrettably, but more seriously, that whereas the presidential candidates are making profound statement, promises that borders on changes that will have to take place with respect to the Constitution, we are not seeing those who are going to the Senate or going to the House of Rep or State House of Assembly presenting and campaigning on any legislative agenda that will be in tandem with those proposals that are being made right now. So again, we are likely to have a situation which we have had over the period, that you may have a party at the center having even the majority in the House of Assembly, but clearly those who came to the National Assembly do not have the same vision with that of the president. So before this election, most of those cases will not be determined, because as pre-election matters, they will have to land at the level of the Supreme Court. But this, at most of the cases right now, they are at the level of Court of First Instance, or at best at the Court of Appeal. Perhaps one or two that have actually gone for for what do you call it at the Supreme Court. Now, the other issue that you have raised are very germane. In the last few days, we've been hearing reports about, first and foremost, the chair of a body like INEC undergoing this type of distraction just for nothing, because if those who do what they are doing now are sufficiently aware of the implication of what they are doing, I think they will not embark on that. This is because how will a chair or anybody in the system there working for an election is now being distracted with litigations, and very frivolous ones at that? They have gone to the court of a high court at Abia, Umahia, against the chairman working in Abuja. What happened to the court in Abuja? From there, the matter went to the Court of Appeal. At the Court of Appeal, they lost. Again, from Court of Appeal, they have run to the a high court in Abuja. The outcome was what we heard a few days ago. Let me be very clear here. And perhaps the NBA, and I've been making this call, that all those who are going to court for this purpose, or those who are trying to say, oh, the BBAS must not be used, which is clearly contrary to public policy, clearly contrary to the statutory provision of the law, an action that may lead to widespread disruption of public life in this country. I think that the NBA, given that those who sign those processes are lawyers, we belong to an association, and you will see the Supreme Court number of their stamp, affixed to those processes. They need to call them to order. So,
hello,
Commissioner, electoral officers cannot help anybody. This distraction should be put away. Now, Rufai on security. In the last 48 hours, there have been concern, not only in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, about a statement that was made by an official of the commission. And what I needed to do was to read the report. That statement, which of course a genuine concern that there is need to a security agency to deal with the issue of security, but was taken too far to the extent that it's being suggested that election may be put forward on account of that. No, nothing has got to a level where we'll be talking about a suggestion about postponement of election. And in any case, that statement is not the commission decision from what I have read so far. It was an official in an event who expressed concern, which is genuine though, but as to whether that would be enough and sufficient to suggest a postponement of election, when we have had situations that are more severe than what we are having at the moment, clearly what isolated cases which are concerned are not enough and sufficient to talk about postponement of election. And in any case, it is not the INEC chairman that actually says so. It's also not a decision of the commission. So I think everybody should please relax. And I want to beg of the media, because we have done so well in getting this country to where we are on this question of democracy. Please, at this point in time, when this kind of statement that is so has a wider ramification was made by an official, not the chairman of the commission, not a decision extract from the commission, it would have been better for us to actually go further to confirm from the INEC chairman whether indeed the statement attributed to the national commissioner, which of course is a genuine concern anyway, was actually a decision of INEC that the election may be postponed on account of that. Election will not be postponed on account of such isolated cases.
Well, Mr. Igini, yes, the federal government through the Minister of Information and Culture has come out to say that elections will hold, the timetable remains sacrosanct, and the federal government is doing all it can to ensure that the security is rife. However, just to mention, the INEC chairman did speak through the chairman board of the Electoral Institute training arm, Professor Abdullahi Abdulzuru. He was representing the INEC chairman when he made this statement, so he was acting as a spokesperson for the INEC chairman. And you know, there have been many reactions since that statement was made. He just raised an alarm over the fact that if the security situation or insecurity situation persisted, then it could potentially threaten the elections being held, and very importantly, in some constituencies, making it impossible to declare the winner and also causing constitutional upheaval. So that was what he had said at the training representing the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. But like you said, the Minister of Information and Culture has come out to assure Nigerians that it will certainly hold come February 25 and March 11. But let's move away from that. So other things plaguing the elections, forthcoming elections, which some parties have complained about, and even the electorate, is this issue around the collection of PVCs. The deadline for this collection is on the 22nd of January. That's in a matter of days, that's in 12 days. And people have described the difficulties with being able to access their PVCs. So even though, as the minister and the federal government has said that elections will hold, some Nigerians will or are currently at the risk of being disenfranchised. How can INEC manage this situation? Or is it time now to call for an extension for the collection of PVCs?
Well, just very quickly before I come to this question, still on this issue about security. You know that someone represented the EMB chairman at an event may not be a conclusive evidence that genuine concern really is a basis to say there will be a postponement election, and that indeed the chairman, I'm very sure that perhaps in days ahead, because INEC chairman, the commission have opportunity of briefing stakeholders. In fact, from the paper review this morning, which I listened to a while ago, that they are going to make presentation of the voter register, to the public today or so. I'm sure the commission will be in a position also to reconfirm on that. Now, with respect to the PVC collection, I am aware, just as Arise have done so well, in also helping to educate Nigerians that, yes, we have seen across the country INEC offices where you see people trying to collect their PVC, which has not been very easy. Now, the good news is that at least they have moved down to the level of the wards at the moment. So I think what will happen is for all of us and the commission itself to assess the progress that's being made with respect to collection, to make a determination as to what they need to do for. And I want to say that collection of PVC should actually not be much problem. INEC will respond appropriately as to what to be done with respect to the issue about the time frame they wish to collect. I am very sure INEC will respond to that. But at least let us see the progress being made, because after all, since on Friday last week, that they devolved to the ward level, there have been some remarkable progress in terms of collection of PVC, which is very, very important. That is the area that everybody needs to do right now as we focus on what other stakeholders need to do to have a good election by next month.
Right. Real quickly, I'm happy you've talked about the issue of PVC, but I'd also like to go back, to the issue of security in general. We've had too many attacks on INEC facilities. INEC has been able to reassure us, but some people are not still reassured. A lot of people, I must have to say, that these attacks, as it happened, the printing of the collection of their PVCs, and the fact that people have not been apprehended in these attacks. Also, there's the issue of ad hoc staff, members of staff of INEC, collecting, aiding and abetting criminality of PVC collection. We're even hearing that members of staff of INEC are collecting as much as 5,000 naira in some areas to be able to get you your PVC. We're also hearing that people from certain political parties just come to the collection point and they give them PVCs which we can't even account for. Too much is happening. What's going on?
Well, Rufai, I'm no longer in INEC, but what we've been doing is to educate Nigerians on processes and procedure. I think that some of these emerging issues that you have raised with respect to the alleged unethical conducts that have been spoken about, that people should always make that straight to the commission. It is not expected that somebody, a Nigerian who has registered, who want to collect the PVC, that money should be collected. I think part of the problem, which is the reason why they have devolved right now, is that naturally, from my own experience, you will be surprised that it will even be those who want to collect this PVC will be the one that will first make the offer. Please help me collect, and so on and so forth. So those who are offering and those who are accepting, who are supposed to be official, that's a clear deviation from ethical standard. Those are matters that the commission, of course, should continue to respond to. I mean, you put it out here. I hope that from what you said now, the commission will respond to that. Now, on the security, Rufai, it's regrettable, it's a shameful thing that in our country, anytime we are going for a general election, there is this sense of war that is created around issues of election in our country. And of course, that is the more evidence by the kind of attacks that you see going on in INEC facility across the country. This is not the first time. 2003, 2007, at this point, I would not want to give you statistics of the kind of things that happened in 2007, 2011, 2015, 2019. This has become almost regrettably part of a feature you see in our election. However, one of the things that are giving me the greatest hope in this 2023 election is that most of the things that you're also seeing happening now from some of the information we are getting are clear, response by those who have now discovered that INEC processes and procedure are now difficult for politicians to manipulate. In fact, virtually all loopholes, both statutory and procedural, have all been closed, have all been blocked. This is what is also leading to the panic that you are saying today. But unfortunately, there's nothing they can do. And that is why I draw attention to issue about recruitment, which you signpost the opening of your remarks, recruitment of ad hoc staff. Now, on recruitment of ad hoc staff, we know that they would like to infiltrate certain categories of ad hoc staff, which are basically the supervising presiding officer, because these are the people that will handle the ballot paper and the result sheets that will be given to presiding officer. So at the first level of 176,846 polling units, from what has been reported by the EMB, the entire beavers have all been delivered for the country. Those who will work there are purely NYSC that will work in that area. These are the young people who are saying they want to change their country. So interestingly, we want to see how committed they will be to that clamor now that they are going to be the one to be at the polling unit where elections will be won and lost in this country. But areas of concern is that, this goes to the NYC and of course to my, where I have worked before, that's the commission. And that is that those to be used as NYC core members, the list must be certified by the current DG and given to the commission down to the states, because politicians in time past, and of course these are part of it that have been blocked, but you never can tell any angle they are going to come from. What they used to do before Rufai was that those who are passed out of the service, maybe last year or just 2 months ago, in connivance with some officials, of course of the NYC in time past, what they do is to give out the batch number and their telephone number, batch number of those who are passed out. As a result, politicians will now bring in people who are not youth corpus. It is so uniform for them. They have done that in the past. I investigated a particular...
Okay, I think we'll try to reconnect with Mr. Mike Igini.
Yes.
If we can get him. Wow, I mean, some shocking revelations there about things that used to happen in the past that
I
politicians...
hope we can bring him back for him to continue, because this is quite important.
Politicians will manipulate NYSC core members. You know, they will get fake people in there.
Yes.
They'll sew NYSC core uniforms for them, and they'll put them in as ad hoc staff and all of that. And that's why we need to watch this electoral process.
Yes.
And that's why I say, no matter the frustration, please go out there and get your PVC. Like they say in local parlance, our mumu don't do. You see, the political process and the electionary process has always been hijacked by the highest bidders and those that can buy people. So, hello, how are you? Mr. Igini, please continue. That was very fascinating. So politicians will sew NYSC core uniforms for them.
Yeah, they do that. Just as you talk about fake police. But here is the good news. Here is the good news. The good news under the current regime that have brought tremendous energy of integrity to the process, it is that the system we have designed, that's my joy. Even out of the commission, I am happy looking at the system that we all collectively work together to put in place. And that is that the system now is such that, you know, before I used to hear about EO as very powerful, no longer powerful anymore, because we have reorganized, designed the system in such a way that exercise of discretion is not there anymore. The level of what you call human interference is out of the way. And that is why power is fully back with Nigerian people. Therefore, the commission, as expected, will ensure that a certified copy is what we are going to get from NYSC. Now, with respect to supervisory presiding officer, I am aware that the commission, and that's what I've already done all through the period I've been working in the commission, that the supervisory presiding officer, who are the last layer to deliver materials to the presiding officer, are going to be staff of INEC. Where there's a shortfall, they will have to take from staff of federal agency. Here again, in time past, and we have blocked all of this now, in time past, Rufai, what they will do is that politicians will connive with agency, federal agency staff, and they will send what they call list. For people like us, we don't accept list. We request what we call nominal roll. In fact, in the last election, when I discovered there was a lot of mercenary in the system, I recorded a vice chancellor that the Senate meeting that we were to hold should not hold because the integrity of that university will be questioned. And I requested what we call the last pay receipt. That is what we needed to use. So that will be dealt with. Now, with respect to issue about preloading of corridor, or what you call the beavers. Look, politicians are deceiving, some unscrupulous ICT out there, including some element in our system, in INEC system. They are deceiving politicians that there's something they call preloading. It's not like preloading of beavers. They try to do that with what do you call it, corridor. And I have given out some information to you, which you can let Nigerians know that I can give a background to that. You could see, no, not this one. There is certain information that I've sent to the Arise, which are there. You could see how people, these are car readers. These were in the private home of a politician, who stole INEC car readers. And what were they doing? They just used this card because there were some local government, when you hear in different parts of the country, that PVC have been collected 100%. How can you say that PVC were collected 100%? When I got to the last place where I worked, the two local governments where 100% PVC were collected were the places we had the most difficult situation. But unfortunately for them, that was the regime of corridor. So if you look at those pictures you are seeing there, what they were doing is these were people's PVC, these some stolen corridor, so they will be swiping. Then that's why you hear about people collecting, information of PVC. All of those ones amounted to nothing. Now, we have moved even away from the corridor because what they try to do here, nothing happened. But if we are in a society where there's rule of law, where not the rule of man, those who were responsible for this should today be in jail. That is not happening in our country. You also see a picture of a young little boy of about 5 years or 6 years, all over in social media. I need to speak to this, to tell Nigerians that, look, the joy, why I commend the National Assembly, why I commend the President of the Republic of Nigeria, that this is going to be the greatest thing that will be said about him. It is that that picture you are seeing, what it was required to achieve before was to populate the register. That was under the section 51, because as at that time, the computation of voting is based on total number of registered voters. But for 23 years, we were fighting for this, that this must change. It should be based on those who actually came, i.e., those who were actually accredited. Now, the law has changed. So no more room for anybody to manipulate anymore. Section 49, which is the section that has encouraged politicians to buy PVC. You will see a picture of a man who was giving money to people selling PVC, which is the property of the federal government, the property of INEC, in a country where the rule of law, this man should today would have been arrested. You could see what they are doing there now. What they are basically doing is to disenfranchise, to deny these Nigerians whose condition are now being taken advantage of unduly by disenfranchising them. This is what is going on. In a country where there's a rule of law, that guy should be somewhere cooling off in jail right now. So the bottom line is that, look, essay, power is back with Nigerian people. All of you go and collect your PVC. There is nothing anybody can do anymore. We have tried to educate them. They don't want to hear. See, those who fail to drink from the well of knowledge will obviously die in the desert of ignorance. I see shock. I see lamentation. I see people experiencing what we call the dinosaur experience in this 2023 election. Because
okay, Mr. Mike Igini. Okay, we'd like to say a big thank you so much for your time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mike Igini. Very well said. As he ended, everyone get your PVC. He's assured the efforts that INEC is making to ensure that this election is indeed free, fair, and credible.